Yo, lads, how are we doing? Now, my god, have I waited a long time to make this video. I have genuinely been waiting over 3 years to be able to make this video. Literally, the moment this thing happened, my first thought was, my god, this is going to make a good story time video one day. My second thought, on the other hand, was, god, my parents are going to kill me. Now, the only problem with making a video out of this entire situation was that this very form of media, god, I sound pretentious, making videos was essentially the very thing that got me into trouble, so it would have been a little bit ironic for me to make a story time video talking about me getting in trouble for my YouTube videos while I was at the school. Also would have been a little bit awkward coming in the next day. So because as of September 2019, I'm now at a new school. I've just started year 12, so I'm now in 6th form at a completely different school, so I'm free to make this video. And the best thing about all of this is the fact that this isn't even clickbait. This shit actually happened. So without further ado, let's let this emotional roller coaster commence. So this story all starts when I was probably in year 7. I think I was in year 7. Absolute fetus, sounds about right. Anyway, let me take you back to the absolute joys of being a year 7 at school. Hanging around at lunch, everyone around you using gay as an insult, avoiding eye contact with the year 11s because you don't want to end your life, and of course, who could forget playing football with an apple until it slowly falls apart. Simpler times. But anyway, continuing with the story, there was a student in about year 10, I think he probably was. Now this guy in year 10, a few years above me at the time, took a bit of a dislike to me. For good reasons, to be fair. I'm not going to use his real name, but for the sake of this video, let's call him Stephen. Stephen would always sit at the end of this really long corridor on the floor, down by the door, on his own. Bless him. He was always on his own. Poor Stephen. Now, me and my friends, being the absolute bastards that we used to be, absolute bastards, can't explain this behaviour, do not be like this, please. We thought it would be really epic and funny to go and knock on the door where he was sitting just to piss him off and just see what he did. Because through the grapevine, according to the rest of the school, this guy had a bit of a temper on him. It was a small school, everyone knew everyone, stuff like that just got around. In fact, actually, I don't even have to explain this part of the story because before I got in trouble for this thing, 2015 me actually already made a video about this.
How you doing, guys? My name is Comedy Dan, and today in this video,
don't ask me, I don't know why.
I am going to tell you a story of something that happened at school. So this all started on a normal break time at school, and then my mate, he's called Will, he came over to me and said, "Hey Dan, knock on that door." And I was like, okay.
Thank you very much, Comedy Dan. Now I'd like to play a quick quiz game with you guys. It's time to play the first round of What Would Comedy Dan Do? Did he A, respect Stephen's privacy and give him personal space? Or did he B, knock on the door to deliberately try to annoy him in an attempt to provoke a reaction? Gonna give you guys a little bit of time to think about that one. Time is up. The answer was B. I was a twat. God, I was such an annoying kid. But like, it is hard. It's hard when there's people jeering you on to go do something and you have absolutely no idea what being a dickhead is. But anyway, just to show off, I went and knocked on that door and immediately Stephen stood up and bursted down the door like that FBI open up meme. He then proceeded to chase me about halfway around the school. Like, yeah, he was an angry guy. After running for quite a long time, this guy eventually caught up to me. Now, to help you envision what happened here, I want you to watch this absolute Oscar-winning performance.
He grabbed me around the neck properly, and oh my god, you do not know how scared I felt. Now don't take this the wrong way because I am about to do an impression of him. He went like this. "Why you knock on the door?" And I was like this.
I'm still waiting for my Oscar. So yeah, basically he just strangled me a bit and then told me not to annoy him again. Which leads us very nicely onto the next round of What Would Comedy Dan Do? Did I A, take Stephen's advice and not go anywhere near him again to avoid getting physically hurt? Or did I B, decide with my friends that we'd make it our tradition to go and annoy this guy whenever we could? I'm not even going to give you any time to think about the answer to that question because you already know it's B. I was so bad. Like, you know how a lot of 6th formers look at the year 7s and think, God, we were never that annoying, were we? Like, there's no way we were ever that annoying. I see those year 7s and have full sympathy for them because I fully know what it's like to be an annoying little like, I would safely bet that I was much worse than what the year 7s are like now. Whether it was knocking on the door at school, or tapping him on the shoulder on the train, or sneaking into his house in the middle of the night. I'm joking, we didn't actually do that. Please don't try that, that's a bit weird. Bottom line is, myself and my mate spent quite a long time trying to provoke a reaction out of this guy. We kept just doing it for our own entertainment until it got to year 8 and I had an idea. Obviously, at that time, poor Comedy Dan didn't get very many views.
Even though I have about, what, 40, 50 subscribers, I actually do take YouTube as quite a serious thing.
But what I'd seen was those street fight videos on YouTube doing absolute wonders, and I knew that we could get a reaction out of Stephen that we wouldn't even have to stage. So I thought, screw it, if I want to go viral, what I got to do is get someone to film me getting absolutely beaten up by Stephen and uploading it to YouTube. It was genius. I'd struck gold. In my head at the time, that was genuinely a great idea. Obviously, looking back now, I've realised it's a bit of a twat move, but you know, in the moment, it was hilarious. Like, oh. For me, a perk of doing this was the fact that it was something I could easily repeat. Like, I could happily get beat up for days if I wanted to, as long as I got 4 different videos out of it. And also, Also, it's not something that goes in and out of fashion. Like, I knew that there would always be a demand for watching fights. Why do you think that clip of Morgs getting absolutely floored went viral on Twitter last month? Why do you think that KSI and Logan Paul are going at it again in November? That just got, no, sorry. Moving on. The point is that people enjoy watching fights, and it was exactly the same back in early 2016 when this happened. So the next day on the way home from school, me and my mates from that school, you guys all know who you are, I really hope you're watching this. We hatched the plan to make the most epic YouTube video of all time. Now, before I explain what happened in the video, let me just emphasize the fact that I have literally looked everywhere for this video clip. Since then, I've had a new phone, and stupidly, my old phone wasn't backed up, so I actually lost everything on there, so it's not there anymore. Also, the video is entirely deleted off YouTube for obvious reasons when you read the title of the video, so I actually don't have the clip. And to be fair, even if I had the clip, I probably still wouldn't put it in the video just out of respect for Steven. I don't have his permission, I don't know the guy anymore. So yeah, with that said, let's just explain what happened in this video. I sat down on the train right next to Steven, ready to take my beating. I needed to get his attention somehow, so I held my phone out like that. He was sat like there. That literally tells you nothing. I got my phone out, I held it like that as if I was vlogging. I was vlogging. Held my phone out like that, filmed his face, and what did I say? What was my hilarious one-liner for this video? Of course, I said this. But first, let me take a selfie. Banter! So funny. Oh my god. Oh, so funny. Get it? Because it's that song, that really famous song that was probably actually already irrelevant in 2016. Like, I was already late, but still absolutely hilarious. Cheyenne comedy, that. I legged it down the train carriage at that point. I was still vlogging, still had my camera out like that. You could see Steven in the background chasing along after me. But somehow, 5'2" fetus Tom managed to run right down to the bottom of the train carriage without getting caught. He absolutely cornered me. He put me in a headlock like that, like I was in there. And then he just repeatedly punched my head like that. It was not pleasant, but who cared? I had it on video. I genuinely saw me annoying an innocent person and pissing him off to the point of beating me up as the best video I'd ever made. You can call me Jack Jones TV. So I rushed home, I quickly uploaded the video, and lo and behold, it got like 20-30 views, which was an absolute banger for me at the time. Like that was top level. The people at my school found it hilarious, and for the first time in my life, I genuinely felt like I'd managed to entertain people somehow. I felt on top of the world, completely disregarding Steven and his feelings. Like, I didn't care about that. For my own sake, I was loving life, and I was already thinking what I was going to do for part 2. But then after about a week, that all came to a grinding halt. I was sat in an English lesson on a Wednesday morning right before lunch, and I still remember to this day that we were sat discussing whether 9/11 was an inside job or not. Private school, things are different. But out of nowhere, our head of year burst through the door and told us that straight after that lesson, we had to come to this particular room for an emergency assembly. Immediately, I started to wonder what might have happened. Had more people gone into the forest to smoke weed? No, not that, but from the look of people's faces in there, like the teachers and everyone, it looked like someone had committed mass genocide. I straight away knew that someone had done something that the teachers deemed to be extremely bad. The deputy head of the school walked in and immediately everyone stood up. Again, private school. When the deputy head opened his mouth to speak, this is what he said. Now, I have been informed that a member of this year group has uploaded a video to the internet bullying a student at this school. Oh, I strolled into that emergency assembly really looking forward to hearing about someone throwing a glue stick at a teacher or something. But instead, I sat in there and got indirected for about 15 minutes in front of my entire year group who were all pissing themselves laughing because they knew that this was about me. I don't want to make out like I didn't deserve this. I 100% did. I was an absolute dickhead. And Steven, if you're watching this, I know for a fact that you're not, but if you are watching this, then I am sorry, mate. But anyway, getting back to this story, I very quickly realised that this wasn't really an emergency assembly and it was more just a let's laugh out loud XD at Tom for 15 minutes type of assembly. I looked over to the side of the room and I saw these two teachers that were giving me the most smug look ever. Like they were so proud of themselves for catching me out, and fair enough. They then turned around to look at each other and smiled as if they'd teamed up to imprison me. I fully felt like a Scooby-Doo villain that had just been caught, and Fred and Daphne were just looking at each other being like, "Wait, we caught him, boys." Yeah, and I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you bastard teachers stalking my socials. I'm not mad at them. They did their job. They ended the assembly, they let everyone else go to lunch, but they kept me back and they had a conversation with me and told me that I would inevitably be suspended from school. It turned out that the main thing they were angry about was the fact that Steven had his blazer on and you could see the school logo in the video, so it was giving the school a bad name. I waited in that office to find out what the verdict was, and they decided that they were suspending me for 2 days. It wasn't the end of the world. Not good. Not saying that it was good at all. In fact, it wasn't good. It was bad. But I came away and learned from it and started making high quality videos like this. Steven, mate, I don't blame you one bit for wanting to cave my head in. Anyway, guys, that is the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, then hit a like and subscribe if you're new around here. That would really mean a lot. This video has been a long time coming. I've really enjoyed making this one, so thank you very much for making it this far. You're honestly a god. Finally, I just want to say that somehow I made it into Pyro's new video the other day.
Also, someone made a tweet comparing this press conference to the UK one last year.
JJ has no dick.
JJ has no dick.
Honestly, could not tell you how this keeps happening to me. Like, why do I keep getting featured by people? Like, stop. I'm not worth it. But yeah, thank you so much. Like, the support with the channel recently has actually been sick. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.
Yeah, yeet. Thank you for watching TomGW's video. Please subscribe for more clout, but only if you have a big wang. Hit the like button if you want to get into heaven, but only if you can spin a fidget spinner on your nose for 5 seconds. Follow all the socials linked down below if you want to become a disciple of TomGW. Goodbye. See you